Porter Reels channel. You're joined by VWalls92. It's time for another podcast to discuss the weekly events of what's been going on. As always, Porter Reel has freedom of speech to discuss whatever views he has on his mind, and as always, no trolling. Any constructive feedback, leave down in the comments section below because it's all about you. Porter Reel, the stage is yours. Take it away.
And first of all, don't forget to make a donation to VWalls92's Digital Freedom platform. I'm just joking there, folks. 2 quick points within this video. First of all, I think he was a member of Reform UK, but certainly a good ally of Nigel Farage in the European Parliament, a gentleman called Nathan Gill. And I think he was part of the Welsh government. Well, yesterday, he has recently just been sentenced to 10.5 years in jail, and he's going to be sharing soap with Andy Pilley, because when he was a European Parliament MEP, member of the European Parliament, he was actually receiving bribes from the Russian government to promote Russian propaganda against Ukraine in the European Parliament. 10.5 years in the slammer, that is a long time. And I don't know whether Nathan Gill qualifies for probation, but VWalls92, I hope he has a boyfriend already. What do you think on that subject?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that topic, and what a disgraceful act that is, taking bribes to promote certain views. So I do agree with that. Discussion there, Porter Reel.
And, there is serious debate now. When I watched that video of Nathan Gill walk out the courthouse, there were vultures protesting saying, "What about Farage?" And I'm trying my best to be balanced, but I think it's a valid question because previously Farage has said, but I admire Vladimir Putin, and he has said that previously. But the fact that Nathan Gill has been sentenced to the slammer for 10.5 years for Russian bribery, that's not a good image for Farage. Can he form a government for the next general election? It's going to tarnish his reputation. I understand other politicians, the Labour circus is not great at the moment. The Green Party, the Liberal Democrat, the Tories are all irrelevant. I understand that, but it's not a great image for Farage with Nathan Gill, which, if he doesn't have a boyfriend already, he's going to find one. Point number 2, quite similarly, with the Russia-Ukraine war, apparently Donald Trump may pressure Zelensky to sacrifice more land to Putin for potential peace. Now, history does repeat. We've already tried this with Crimea. But if we give Mr. Putin Crimea, that will keep him satisfied. No more wars. And I think that was during Obama's term. Well, it hasn't worked because Putin basically wants to rejuvenate the Soviet Union. He wants more and more Ukraine, and then Finland looks tasty. He wants to bring back the Soviet Union. So if Trump thinks that sacrificing more of Ukraine will solve the war, he is mistaken. Because in 10 years' time, if there is not a treaty in place with Trump, Zelensky and the European allies, because the European Union and Keir Starmer are being frozen out of any discussion because it's Donald Trump who is taking centre stage. But ultimately, will this solve the problem? Well, it hasn't previously. I don't think it will. So, will this solve the problem as Crimea was not enough to please the Kremlin? Does Donald Trump deserve the Nobel Peace Prize? Or, quite frankly, does Donald Trump belong in Blackpool Tower Circus? Putin wants to recreate the Soviet Union. What do you think on that point?
I did actually see that Farage commented on that topic, that he does not agree with Trump's plan as well. So it's actually interesting to see Farage going against Trump. So let's see how that pans out.
So was that on his Facebook page? Because I didn't see that.
It was a very recent article.
So did Farage actually disagree with Trump?
Actually disagreed.
Looks like Farage won't be invited to Mar-a-Lago. Because ultimately, you've got to treat Donald Trump like a child. You're the best golfer in the world, sir. You're the best president in the world, sir. And people that have disagreed with Donald Trump, like CNN and the BBC, have been shut out of the White House for asking questions. So if Ukraine have to sacrifice more of their country to Putin, history does repeat. Does Trump belong does he deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, or does he belong in Blackpool Tower Circus? Let's see what happens. V. Wilson, shut this video down, summarise it. Thanks for your time, folks.
Nicely done, that Portal Real, and as always, leave any thoughts down in the comments below, because we question everyone and everything.
And all we're trying to do is promote critical thinking. I'm not biased towards politicians, but you decide. Yo!